didn't you tell me? And she's like, Carly, I was pregnant for 9. Bitch, I don't know what pregnant is. I just thought you got weirdly fat, you know, like that. And yes, I did talk to my mom that way when I was 7 years old. We lived in a bad neighborhood. I had to keep my pin pan strong, you know? Yeah, but then I realized that Maddie, my little sister, is going to be part of the family. And then I made sure to sit her down when my little brother came to town. I was like, hey, listen here, man. She was like, I thought I was the youngest. I thought everybody loved me. And I'm like, no. Now you're the middle child. Now you're fucked. She's like, oh, shit. She was 3. And I'm like, yeah. So then I realized that Ed was a permanent part of the picture. And I was like, oh, shit. But yeah, he was hard to live with, man. He had, like, hobbies. And they were really weird. He was like a big kid. He was into guitars. He painted them a lot. He had a band, you know, 40 years old, he had a band. He came over all the time. His friends came over more than mine did. He was real into drugs. He loved those. Oh my God, meth. Favorite. And he was really into Star Trek. He loved, big Trekkie. I know, go back to the drugs, okay. It wasn't until I was a lot older that I understood the whole tweaker thing, you know, because 3 or 4, when Ed would go away for, I don't know, 90 days, I thought it was a court-ordered vacation. I just didn't understand it. And yeah, crap, I forgot. Excuse me. I'm just joking. Anyway, so when Ed, he didn't really have a job. He worked in his garage. He always tried to convince me that he was painting, but I knew it wasn't true because he had a job before. He worked in like a hardware store. And, but no one ever went in. I know because I was the only one who went in to check up on him. And no one was there, and I think he just got that job to, you know, paint, or to look at paint, because that was the true calling, was painting. He loved to paint. He wasn't good at it, but he painted a lot. Because, like, you know, tweakers, you know, they have to, you know, like, do things while they're busy because they're up for hours and hours and hours, and Ed would paint. And he tried to convince us that it was part of his business. He would paint guitars, except he forgot that, you know, you have to create some sort of income to have a job. It must have slipped his mind. So, you know, he would just be in the garage and he'd paint over and over and over and over. He'd just paint his guitars over and over and over, and eventually he ran out of guitars to paint. So I don't know what he did, but I'm guessing that spray can in hand, he went outside to our backyard and he was just looking around, you know? And then he saw our patio furniture, our wood patio furniture, decided it needed some sprucing up. So he painted it. Oh yeah, I know, my mom was pissed. And then he saw our big concrete wall, went around our whole backyard, concrete wall that went around our whole, painted that too. He painted everything blue too, I don't know why. I guess he had a lot of blue left over. I think he thought that it would make, like, calm my mom down when she saw it. It didn't work. No, it didn't work. But anyway, I would, like, go out. That next morning I went out to go revive him because I had to leave for school in like 20 minutes and he had to give me a ride. But he wasn't passed out in the garage, he was passed out on the front lawn. Or not the front lawn, the back lawn, I'm sorry. And I thought he was dead. I was like, ooh. And he nudged over and, like, I saw him, like, half of his face was painted blue. He looked like Two-Face from the Batman animated series, or like Braveheart or something. And, like, he still had the spray can in his hand, and I wanted to, like, take it out to, like, paint one of those crime scene investigation, like, around him. But he had a tight grip on it, I couldn't do it. Yeah, so eventually he took his painting projects from the garage to the backyard to inside the house. And one morning I was in the kitchen, my mom walked in, she's like, Carly, I want you to paint the bread box, okay? I'm sorry, clean the bread box. And I was like, another fucking weird chore, and I'm like, okay, I'll clean the bread box. She's like, yeah, just wipe it down, it'll be fine. And then, like, the minute my mom leaves, like, the minute her car leaves the driveway, he, like, pops in his head like he's not supposed to be there. He's like, psst, Carly, psst, come here. And I'm like, no. He's like, go back in the garage, what are you doing here? And he comes and he's like, Carly, listen. I could paint the bread box. You don't have to clean it. I'm like, no, let me clean it. Mom will get pissed if you paint. No, she won't. She'll never know. And I'm like, Ed. He's like, no, I'll paint over all the bad stuff. It'll be fine. And I'm like, Ed, this bread box is white. I know goddamn well you want to paint it blue. Mom's gonna know. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to the sponge. Don't touch the fucking bread box, okay? And I left, and he was like, fine. And I knew he was like a kid in a candy shop. He was like, oh my God. something that's not painted. Fuck it, I'll just paint it. Shh, he paints it all. I walk in, I'm like, no! Why? Oh God, and then my mom comes in, she's like, why the fuck would you paint the bread box? What the hell is wrong with you? And he just had to say those 3 words, just those 3 words that would get me into so much shit. Carly likes it. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, Carly thinks it's great. Carly thought I should do it. And I'm like, and then my mom like does the exorcist head turn towards me. I'm like, okay, hold on, let me go get my holy water, I'll be right back. Oh God, it was horrible. And then finally he took his projects to the front yard and he saw our cars. Yeah, I know. Now we had two cars in our garage, in our driveway that worked. My mom drove the minivan. But I knew he wasn't gonna paint that. Anybody know why? Why? It was blue. So he wasn't gonna paint it. Come on, keep up, man, come on. So the car we had a Beamer, like a 1980-something piece of shit car Beamer, Oh God, I hated that car. It had cigarette ash in it everywhere, and he had this little thing that hung off the rearview mirror of like a bikini model who forgot her bikini top. And he would pick me up from school, and she'd be twirling in the window. I'm like, could you take that down? He's like, no, she's pretty. But I'm no car person, but I have a feeling that painting a car takes a little bit more than 10 minutes. But not Ed, oh God, he was like Superman with that spray can, everywhere, and it looked like shit. So he painted it over and over and over and over. Every time, he used to pick me up from school, and I never knew what color that car was going to be when he came to pick me up. I'd be on the corner, I'm like, fuck, it's orange today, what the hell? What is this, the Dukes of Hazzard? Oh, and then, I always had to say that it was great looking, or else my ass was brass, man. Like, oh, it's great, orange is my favorite. It's not going to look like that forever, is it? And every time it was the same thing, oh, I just gotta buff it out, I just gotta, buff it out, they'll be bitching after I buff it out when I buff it. And I'm like, I bet you can't wait to drive it. I'm like, oh, yes, I can. Oh, it was horrible. But, when Ed would come back from rehab, because he would frequently, he would stay as far away from the garage as he could, because, he knew that we knew that he did stuff in there. But he tried to play it off like he wouldn't. He would make me go in there to get stuff, but then as the months went on, he'd get closer and closer to the garage. He would work in front of the garage, then he'd work in the garage with the door open, then he'd work in it with the door closed, but he'd answer it. But then eventually he just stopped answering the door. Yeah, so I would be there, because our washer and dryer was in there, and I'd come out with my laundry and I'd knock on the door and he'd open it that much. He was from a bad New York neighborhood with the chain on the door. He's like, what do you want? Who are you? What are you doing here? I'm like, I live here. He's like, what the hell do you want? Laundry? I want to do laundry. Why? What? Why? My pants are dirty? He's like, okay, put the basket down, put the basket down, and go back to the house. And I'm like, okay, put it down. And I went to the house, I could see him through the window, and he swooped in like a vampire and took it all away. And I came back and knocked on the door, okay, I'll come for that an hour again. He was like, tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay, tomorrow morning? No. And I'm like, okay, just put it on the step back here, I'll get it as soon as you're done, okay? He's like, okay. Okay, it's horrible. Anyway, but eventually my mom saw the error of Ed's ways, and she got a divorce, and we moved away 2 years ago. And now I have to spend a lot of time with my siblings. They're up there, don't look, stop. They'll notice. So I have to spend a lot of time with them, I gotta watch them a lot. And siblings, they have their ups and downs, they have their high points and low points. Especially low points. I'm only having a high point when someone else is having a low point, you know what I mean? Oh God, it's horrible. I have my little sister Maddie, she's the middle child, and then I have Theo. He's the youngest kid, and I get along with him the most, but I think that's in most families, the oldest gets along with the youngest the most. Because he doesn't really do anything that bugs me, except, he says diarrhea for every 4th word. Every preposition. Carly, diarrhea, would you like to diarrhea, get me some water? And some diarrhea? And I'm like, sure. But I don't know, he's 9 years old, that's what he does. I like to think that he's smarter than other kids because he says diarrhea, not poop. But I also like to dream, so. It's just that, and he shoots me in the head with Nerf guns to wake me up in the morning, so it'll be like, Carly, psh, good morning. They don't hurt, they're just foam, but except for that one, but it's okay now, it's just a scar. And then there's my sister Maddie. Oh God, does she annoy the fuck out of me. Okay, first of all, she never shuts up. She never stops talking. Never, ever, 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 ever does she shut up. She even talks in her sleep. It's horrible. But you know, it's just some of the little